For nearly 150 years, since the dawn of freedom for black people in this country, African Americans have struggled hard to gain economic opportunity and to close the gap they inherited in employment, income, business ownership, wealth, and other measures of economic well-being. We know where we are, and we know where we need to be. And the initiative mentioned this morning is one way to get there. Let me describe for you the economic status of black people in this country. African Americans represent 11% of the workforce, 10% of those who have jobs, and 20%, nearly 1 in 5 of all of those who do not have jobs. Let's look at income. The median income of African Americans in 2009 was approximately $15,000. Now, for those of you who might have forgotten what you learned in statistics, the median income is the value that divides the distribution in half. Half will be above the median, half will below the median. And so the median income for African Americans was $15,000. Only 28% of the $52,000 median income for white Americans. Now, Oprah Winfrey and Robert Johnson dwell comfortably among the billionaires of this country. But in fact, many African Americans think of themselves in the middle class. The rate of poverty in the African American community is 28%. The rate of poverty in the African American community is 3 times the rate of poverty in the white community. But many African Americans think of themselves in the middle class, and many are in the middle class. Let's look at that high income African American cohort. African Americans in the high income group, those are families with an annual income of $75,000 or more. In that group, the median income for African Americans is slightly less than $100,000. This is a high income group. But when you look at the high income group for white Americans, the median income for them is well over $250,000. So even when we look at those who are doing relatively well, we see a gross disparity in income. Let's talk about that measure of economic well-being that shows the most glaring and persistent gap, and that is wealth. Wealth is a measure of net worth, which is the difference between the value of one's assets and one's liabilities. In 2007, the median net worth of African Americans was less than $10,000. That was less than 10% of the median net worth of white Americans in this country. Let me repeat that. Let's look at wealth. The median wealth, the difference between assets and liabilities for African Americans, was less than $10,000. And by the way, 1/3 of all African American families either had no wealth or they were in a negative position. The value of their liabilities exceeded the value of their assets. With the median wealth of African Americans is less than 10% of the median wealth of white Americans in this country. And there's a difference between African Americans and others in the source of their wealth. The greatest component in the wealth of African American families is equity in their homes. While among other groups, the wealth is more widely dispersed in financial assets like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and other income and dividend paying instruments. Now, what that means is that as a result of the financial crisis and the sharp decline in the real estate market, which we recently experienced, I estimate that nearly 40% of the wealth in African American families has been destroyed. Even more, it's not over, because a disproportionate number of African Americans are now suffering from the impact of home foreclosures. And what is more, 1/4 of all African Americans who hold mortgages are underwater. What does that mean? It means that the market value of the home is less than the remaining balance on the mortgage. I see Emma Chappelle sitting here. She knows all about this. She's a banker. So we're in a terrible fix as African Americans in this country.